Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new year and welcome to It's Sybil with many of the same faces that you come to know and love in 2023 and years previous. But here we are in 2024 with our friend Ms. Astrology, as well as young Cameron Riley and Coy Malone. Welcome in, one and all. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
How are you, Miss Astrology?
I'm really good. Can I ask a question? How long are we allowed to say Happy New Year? Do we have like
Well,
a
on
rule
the
with that?
on the old Joiner show, we said until the King Day celebration,
Oh, okay, which is the 20th, right?
the 15th to the
The
20th.
15th. Oh,
Yeah,
the 15th to the 20th. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
good. It's
So
established now.
that was just what we did. I mean, everybody can make their own rules and
No, I like that
regulations
rule.
regarding that. But I think on New Year's Day, it's still fair to say
Right.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Ms. Astrology, you recently had a birthday, and
Yes.
did you have a good Sagittarius season?
It was cool. It was better. I feel like I didn't do a lot too much, which I've been known to maybe a couple times. But that's better than the whole season. But I'm actually very excited about 2024. Like I'm glad that's over with. And now the cleanup crew of Capricorn is here. So I'm excited. I'm ready.
And Coy Malone also celebrated in the Sagittarius season. Coy, did you have a good birthday?
I did have a good birthday before I moved into my new apartment. So that was somewhat of a congratulatory, I guess, birthday present for me. And then my friends encouraged me to actually go out and celebrate at a local Atlanta restaurant that was very good. The food was good, the decor was good, the service was good. It was an actual lounge. We could hear each other speak, talk, have great conversations. They had a tequila bar, premium tequila bar. It was really nice. That's very surprising in the Atlanta scene because, as you all have seen with Keith Lee, it'd be a little questionable sometimes when you go out in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is it a new
Okay.
place?
Yes, it's a new place called Wheezy's.
I like the name.
Okay.
As
Yeah.
as in George and Louis Jefferson.
Yes,
I
yes,
like the name.
Wheezy. So it's named after the owner's name is Walter. His nickname is Wheezy. And
Okay.
I actually know this person. I worked for him back in my strip club days. He used to,
Okay.
own one of the original clubs where I danced. And he opened up this new restaurant. And, it just happened to be a random idea to go to check it out. And I'm not even saying this because I know him. It's the food, everything was good.
Nice.
Everything.
Nice.
Well, somebody's
That
going to
sounds
have to pay for this advertisement. I don't know.
Right.
Y'all figure it out.
We'll see if we can get him to sponsor
Right.
a future episode. I'm sure I can
Figure it
make that
out.
happen.
So, Ms. Astrology, looking back at 2023, it's been just not a great year.
It wasn't.
No.
Just in terms of politics, in terms of social justice, in terms of mental health, in terms of LGBTQ plus, all the areas that our young contributors talk about and write about, but also in terms of just the violence and wars and rumors of wars and the mass murder rate and things like that, just really brought the whole tone of a promise of a new year, brought it to quickly to a low, if you will. Do you see things as better and looking up in 2024?
I think that overall tends. That's what America, and even though we know there's some other things going on in the world, remember we talked at the beginning of the year how America is going through their Pluto return. And so it is time for a shakeup. It has happened to all these other around the world, and it's just time for the United States to have a major shakeup. And it takes a little while. And so this is what's happening. But that, kind of everything is a low. There are some individuals that are probably feeling the same thing, especially that kind of Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, Aries axis. But there's a lot of individuals that have been feeling really good. What is continuing to go on is just kind of where we are in the world. It is just our time for a revolution, if you will. And we're definitely going to feel more of it into next year.
Are we going to feel more of a shakeup in terms of a dictatorship taking place?
I think that something is going to happen as far as politics are concerned that's just going to make all of this really crumble. And I don't know if it's a dictatorship, but Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, is leaving the sign of dictatorship, which is Capricorn. So it's going to shake something up before it does. And that's something that it could be, but it's definitely going to be in that government, authority, patriarchy kind of way that's going to continue to kind of crumble down. So we'll see.
Well, I guess we will see. But can you give us anything concrete in terms of any of these particular issues? I know we have obviously we've had a lot of things change in Congress. We had it took 15 rounds for the former Speaker of the House to take his job, and then it took maybe about 8 votes to get him kicked out. And then it took a series of votes to get somebody into that slot, and now they voted in a man that nobody knows anything about except that he is a disciple of Donald Trump. It's also a year in which one man lost his job in the United States Congress, and so because he lied, he lied, and according to the charges against him, he also embezzled money from people and stole from people's accounts and things like that. I don't know how you specifically, unless we went into their charts, but I don't know how you specifically say that 2024 is going to be better or it's going to be different or just to give us an idea of how things are.
I don't think it's going to be different. It's going to change. A lot of things are going to change. And I mean, not to say that I don't think it's going to be different. I don't necessarily think on a governmental level it's going to be better. There are a lot of changes to come. And Pluto moves so slow, it takes forever. We are just getting started with this.
Goodness.
It's like, oh, the shakeup is here. It's like, so like in Sag season, like it's your birthday season, and you're like that whole season, you kind of feel either you have really high vibes or really low vibes, kind of depending. Right. So the United States is having that Pluto return, that transformation season, but it lasts way longer. So it's like there's going to be just this time of just so much change, so much revolution, so much tumbling because things got to die. When I think about tarot, it's the death card. So it's like fire, burning, brimstone. All of this has to come down. It's going to be a lot. Like, I think, what is it? I wrote it down. March through June. Pluto is going to make its first tap into Aquarius, so we could definitely see some things with technology, and information via technology, more AI kind of stuff. But then it goes back into Capricorn, and it's like, all right, government, how are you going to handle this? How are we going to do this? Because we obviously have to change some things, including the way that we vote, and that because Aquarius is very much about the people. And the people being heard, it's an air sign. So the way that we vote, the way that we kind of get information from the public, I think we'll be using more technology, more AI advancement type stuff. But we also, those are the things that the government really needs to start figuring out what the plan is. How are we going to use that to our benefit? All that's about to change. Does that make sense? Like,
no, it does, because May through June is primarily the primary season. And so that'll be interesting to see what happens during those and what changes will take place as a result of that primary season.
And those changes we might not even really start to hear about them until we actually go into 2025.
Wow.
Because it's like, I don't think on a governmental level, I don't think it's going to be good next year. It's a lot of change. Like, we're wrapping it up. This is the 29, that final degree of Capricorn. Like, we're wrapping it up. We've been working on this. No. Now it's time to wrap it up. The real changes and the real information and the real implementation actually won't come until 2025. And let's just hope that the government is trying to find answers instead of all this bickering amongst each other. Because then we're really going to be behind when 2025 gets here and AI and all this technology has taken over and we're just not up to speed. We're moving as slow as Pluto. So,
right. Wow. Yeah. So the only thing we can do is kind of try to stay within our own, I guess, guidelines of our astrological signs and do the best and make the most of what we got.
And also remembering that as we're going into Aquarius, it's very much about community. Who's your community? Where's your community? Who are your people? Who is your leader outside of like the president? Like, who's your community leader? Who's your organizational leader? Are you stepping up as an organizational leader? I think that might be for Coy, but it's like, what are like, who in the area can you tap into? That's going to be a better resource for us as individuals because the bigger scale is going through some stuff.
And you mentioned some things over the years about some changes that will take place perhaps amongst our political leaders. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. I know that Coy is probably quite anxious as well as Khameron, if not both, about what you see in their charts.
Them in particular. Yeah, I think that they as well, because they both have Capricorn moons, are gonna kind of feel that same still. You guys aren't done with your also kind of shakeup, emotional shakeup, foundational shakeup, even if you will. However, we're about to go into Capricorn season, or we're in Capricorn season, and we're ready, like we're moving, we're using what we are learning, or at least we should be using what we've learned in all of 2023. So for the both of you guys, I also feel like there's an emotional resilience that either, because it can go either way. Either you're not allowing yourself to feel the emotions and express the emotions and deal with the emotions, or you're like too much emotion. And I feel like intuitively it's like, y'all are actually not, no, I'm fine. Emotions, no emotions. I'm about the business. I'm about the accomplishment. I'm about the goals. And it's like, well, emotions are part of this whole thing. And if you don't actually deal with them, they can come seeping through. I mean, we talk about water, you can't stop water, right? Like don't make it start boiling, or don't make it start like really pounding away at this thing. So emotionally, I would also say make sure you're tapping, or if it's not emotional, it's intuitive. It's just that inner. So are you trusting your gut? Are you trusting your intuition? Does everything have to make sense? Because everything doesn't always make sense. Does that make sense?
Does that make sense to you, Khameron and Coy?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They have, and what I find very interesting, they have very similar charts. They're just, so that's why it makes.
Well, Khameron is, if I'm not mistaken, a Taurus, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Taurus sun, Sagittarius moon, Capricorn rising.
I thought you said the other way.
Right. Yeah. The other way around. I get it.
Capricorn moon, Sag rising.
Yeah.
And Coy is a Sagittarius.
Yeah, Sagittarius sun, Capricorn moon, Virgo rising.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they both are that earthy fire mix.
Got it. Do you all have individual questions for Ms. Astrology?
Oh, go ahead, Coy.
Let's see.
Okay.
What can we do in our for work and like finances? What would you recommend going into, not only going into 2024, but going through 2024 up through 2025, ways that we can expect to see work and finances become better? Like for me, for instance, I'm looking to make more of a work-life balance. I feel like it's been a lot more stress on work, and I haven't really had a lot of time, opportunity, or making time or opportunity to have fun or inject fun or afford the fun. That's what I want to do in 2024.
And I think more for you, as far as finances go, it's definitely about investing and investing in technology, anything that's kind of technology or even AI. I've been saying this, and I'm not going to back down. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Crypto is not going anywhere. The best thing you can do is get knowledge and get informed. I think it like hit a peak these last couple of weeks. Like it is steady going up in value, and we want to ignore it, but that's going to be a lot of digital real estate, digital currency, investing in those kind of ways. Those are going to, you guys are going to feel a lot more stable and a lot better in that. I've been talking about this since we started the show, and that's something that 2025 is like that really next year, but 2025, we should all have cryptocurrencies and some kind of digital real estate and that kind of thing. I think for you, Coy, with your just being a Sag in general, you have a lot of work, because that means your moon is in your second house. I'm assuming right over there, around there with work. And then, no, you said you're a Virgo rising. So that puts your moon at your like fifth house, where you're like, no, I have a hard time having fun because I really need to build and work and stuff. But as a Sag, if you don't allow yourself to have fun, when you do, you're going to go over the top. Like you're just going to kind of overdo it. And then you're going to have this regret. And then it turns into where you're hard on yourself. depression can kind of sit in because that Cancer moon can be depressive. Even Virgo rising, you start being overly critical. So you need to find ways to just allow yourself to have fun, allow yourself to blow some money, allow yourself to, I'm taking Sunday off because I'm probably going to have a hangover because I'm going to dance all night and drink this one day a month or something like that, because otherwise Sag just tends to overdo it. Even if you barely overdid it, you'll still be really self-critical, and it just creates this cycle.
And
Mhm.
Sunday's a work day for her, so just keep that in mind. too.
Well, hey, I love Wednesdays, and there tends to be happy hours at places on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Take Thursday off. And Thursday's a good day for Sagittarius anyways. It's like a Jupiter.
Why is that?
Well, each day of the week, a planet rules each day of the week. And so
Mhm.
Jupiter rules Thursday. Jupiter is Sagittarius's ruler. It's a really good day to learn or to really do something that you believe in. And I would encourage you, I know you're banned right now, but when you get back on Instagram, that's my Sag sister. We get banned from public speaking sometimes.
Yeah.
But learn something, like teach them things. Teach the stuff that you've learned, the stuff that you've thought about that you need people to know. And even if you got to find your own platform, that could be something for you, good for you to look into, and going into 2024, your own platform to teach what you want to create your own kind of security.
Maybe Truth Social will invite you.
Oh, cool.
And Khameron, what about you? You have any
Oh,
questions? Because and I asked about Khameron because Khameron has knowledge and has dealt in the Bitcoin stage area
Sure,
and
yeah.
things
Cameron
like that.
listens to me, that's why.
I do be checking in. But I'll ask two questions. One, the age-old question, and then another more of a personal question. What do you see as far as like making new friends as an adult? Because I keep telling my sister making friends as an adult is really hard because you spend most of your time at work. And then, my mom's kind of been sweating me about
making friends.
well, no,
A girlfriend?
about siring children. So,
Oh.
what do you see in the future for love?
Aw.
I got the same question too. So yeah, you can piggyback mine off his.
Right. Okay. Well, how old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm 32.
32. So you're about ready. Well, Jupiter is on your sun sign, so this could be a good time for you. I don't know where your Venus is, so I would want to know where that is. That's the planet that governs relationships and partnering and those kind of things. So I would really want to know where that is, because it could be like it could be in Taurus, it could be in Gemini. If it's in Gemini, then
my Venus is in Gemini.
Okay, so then when Jupiter goes into Gemini at the middle of next year, that's a better time for love. So because now Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is connecting with Venus, the planet of partnership. Now, here's the thing, Khameron, you got to get out of the house because it's in Gemini.
Right.
Gemini is very social. It's very outgoing. And so you really are going to have to find social groups, even if you don't know anybody. Don't overthink it. Like, Taurus is kind of a stubborn sign that doesn't want to do it. It's like, do I really got to go out of the house? I mean, if you want to meet somebody in person, yeah. So you're gonna have to get moving, and maybe with it being that you want to do it in Gemini season, just go with a group of friends. Don't go by yourself.
Okay.
Because
I've been
we've
working on
come
it.
to know that Khameron is the wingman for the group when he does go out. So
Yeah.
And that's that Sag rising when you show up. You're like surprisingly a good time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So anyone that has kind of that Venus and Gemini, when you're thinking about partnerships and relationships, you definitely want to look where Venus is. It's not really based on your sun sign. Your sun sign is going to be more of when you're going to have a lot of energy, when you're going to feel really passionate and excited about something, about what you're doing moving forward, taking on kind of new tasks. That's when you really want to look at sun. But when you're looking for a partnership, you really want to look at Venus.
And so Venus is the planet, but what about the signs that maybe they should look at?
Well, so if you have Venus in Gemini, or I would even say a fire sign, which is Aries, Leo, Sag, or another air sign, Libra or Aquarius or Gemini, then when Jupiter goes into Gemini at the beginning or the middle of next year, and it'll stay there for a year, that's a better time for those signs to look for partnerships and love. And if it's not partnerships, it could be a really good time for money and finances, or just really feeling beautiful, or art, like those kind of Venus.
Venus is love.
Expressions, affairs of the heart.
Yeah, like all the
Yeah.
beautiful, lovely. I like to give the planets like a family member analogy, and I always say Venus is your favorite auntie. That's just
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
classy, and has a rich husband, and she doesn't curse, and she's so prim and proper. And you just love her. She's got like flawless skin and great bags and shoes and stuff like that. That's Venus.
It's starting to sound like me.
Okay, here's your
I'm
Venus.
trying to work on the husband part. We gonna see by the time.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
where's
so
your Venus?
is there any advice for them? Because you said 2025 is the year. Is there any advice for how they should work on themselves and things they might consider as they are working through 2024?
Question. That's a great question. Well, Khameron, with your Venus and Gemini, and okay, that'll be a good time for you. I would just start making sure I'm cleaning up my friends. Like I'm hanging out with people that I wouldn't mind marrying at this caliber, if you will. Like,
Right. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you just want to hang out with people that are going to elevate you and even elevate your level of thinking, and people that think and speak like you do. So I would just be cautious of that and just be ready to just kind of go with the flow of whatever, because Gemini is a mutable sign. If you get some random invitation and you're not doing nothing, get up and go. Like just go. You never know who's there. It's a good time to meet somebody. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Boy,
clean
does
up
that
your
make
friends
sense?
list and all that until then.
How about a Venus and Sagittarius?
Are you sure you want to get married?
Yeah,
Yeah, she's like,
getting a
well, my
little
moon-
like,
well-
all right. I mean, I'm not for like I wouldn't jump into it tomorrow. I would love to like build and work my way into that.
very Capricorn moon of you, by the way. that they like to build. And so it's like, I think that you're like, well, if I don't get married and have 2.5 children, have I actually accomplished anything?
Yeah.
Girl, let me tell you something. Kids are a lot. Just
They
keep
are.
that in mind, okay? I'm not trying to deter you because I have several myself, and I actually genuinely enjoy my children. However, don't necessarily go that route just because you feel like you have to. That's not what your accomplishments are in. You're very wise. You have a lot to teach. You have a lot to still learn. You have a lot of impact to make, considering a Sag that's very expansive, very big, very wise. So don't think that it's like, I have, like, Cameron's a Taurus. He's going to, he's got that, like, it's going to happen. He's got so much earthy energy, but you got a lot of fire energy. So it's like, you can't move all super freely when you got babies and stuff.
They can come with me. It's fine.
That bag, that stroller, that car seat. I'm not trying to deter you. I'm just saying.
Me and hubby gonna work it out.
In the meantime, just have fun. How old are you, Coy?
38.
Girl, stop it. First of all, you look amazing.
Thank you.
And second of all, are you sure you want kids?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, now we don't have to do it tomorrow. We can work our way up to that point. I feel like I've done so much in my life. There are a few more things I would like to have experiences, especially with the person that I would, have children with. I would love for us to have time to enjoy each other and have other experiences. But I feel like after that could provide a good, solid foundation because I've done so many things that have fulfilled my life. And I feel like that would just be the next cool thing to do. see a little me.
The thing about Coy that I joke about is she's a Jacqueline of all trades. She's a chef, she's an IT person, she's a plant person, she's a, and the list gets as long as her dietary needs and restrictions. So how do you kind of manage all of these things in order to do what's best for yourself? Because you're like, look over here and look over there, and I want this and I want that, and I think it's kind of difficult in order to really focus on what's best in your life when you've got all of this stuff. You got so many balls up in the air.
It can be, but what I've learned to do is to not put focus on everything at the same time. I have some of the things that take the forefront, or may have a season to take the forefront, or I might just want to go do this right now. But the things that are foundational, that I'm super talented in, that help provide for my needs and necessities and wants, and that are also fun, that I enjoy doing, I don't mind doing at any time of the day or night, those are the ones that get like a little bit more focus. And then everything else is, I'm good at it, but let's learn to make this into a hobby or, you know, an enjoyable pastime, because trying to work all those at the same time, it does get stressful. You get spread out super thin. And I've had to learn that throughout the time.
You are so much talking like a Sagittarius right now. Like your chart is just showing up in everything that you're saying. I just would honestly encourage you to pour back out, to just make sure you're teaching, make sure that you're allowing yourself to be that guru. Know that you are. Don't overthink it. Don't try to overplan it. And don't try, remember that whole societal thing, the traditional stuff is coming down. You don't have to be so traditional. Just kind of embrace that for your life. So
I still
just
want
to
it though.
remind people, this is it, Sybil. This is our New Year's Day episode, and want to thank you all for joining us. And Ms. Astrology, thank you for joining us, taking a look, especially at the future of our two young contributors here, Coy Malone and Khameron Riley, as well as a look ahead to 2024, some of the things that we might, or things that we need to work on if she does address this. For those of us who, you know, are in the audience listening and just have some ideas about Leos in general or Geminis in general, that kind of thing. So as we are moving into this year, let's talk. Can we talk about it by quarters, perhaps, and the things that you see, or as I have made very clear, that politics is really an area of great interest to me, and I'm very concerned about the outcome of the November 7th elections. I think it's the 7th, but of the presidential election, as well as the congressional and the U.S. Senate. Every member of the U.S. Congress is up for election or re-election, and 1/3 of the Senate is up for election or re-election. And there have been so many things, Ms. Astrology, such as the ban on abortion, gerrymandering, and in order to deny Black representation in the House and the Senate and things like that, and locally in the states as well. How do we kind of look at this and focus our attention in order to improve the things that are going on in our world? Is that possible to do astrologically?
And well, it is. The most important thing is, like I was saying in the beginning, it starts at that local community level. That is really where we have to get the most involved, and even where we have to put our money behind and our intellectual property, or in like what we know and what we can share. We have to do it more on this local level and put more of our concerns there. I feel like we know that, but we're not doing that.
But the practice of it.
It's the practice of it. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, there's this whole really cool rap song about how important it is to vote at the local level, but we're still not doing it. And so that's where the shakeup is going to come, is that we're going to see, oh, I was aiming up here, but now stuff down here is starting to be impacted and shake everything up. So we really have to vote for our own best community interests. And locally, and we're going to get more impact on that this year and as we go into next year. And if we don't start that this year, we're going to feel it next year real bad.
Because a lot of people are wondering about the constitution of this country. I don't mean the U.S. Constitution. I mean the buildup of the makeup of this country. And I believe what you're saying is right, because we have to be involved locally, because we may end up to be a collection of individual states and not necessarily a group of
United States.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what I do think is coming down, and why it's going to be important on so many levels to be local. And honestly, this started in 2020 when Jupiter and Saturn conjunct together in Aquarius. Again, the sign of community, humanity, like local groups. I always call it the sign of gangs. Like it's that, and that happened in 2020. And so it was like, okay, you better set the foundation so I can bless it, because remember, Saturn wants us to have discipline and focus and boundaries. And Jupiter's like, if you do that, we'll bless it. Well, now we have this time, and now Pluto's like, because here I come to destroy what don't have no boundaries and can't be blessed. So like, I love it because you can talk to them. Yeah. Oh, and Pluto, but the thing is, it's a 20-year process. Pluto
Ooh,
moves
ooh,
very,
ooh.
very slow. No human being ever sees Pluto come back to the sign it was at the time of your birth. It's a
Wow.
generational planet. It impacts entire generations. This is going to impact all of us. So, but the only way we can actually be firm in our own foundation is if we build it here, where we are, our own communities. Because it's like, yeah, here comes Pluto. It's coming to. That's what it does. It just wipes out things. It just changes everything. And that's what it's doing since 2008 is when it went into Capricorn. And that's when we started with the housing
Well,
crisis.
that and 2008. Think about it. I'm sorry, you're going to say the housing crisis and the election of Barack Obama, and that was a tremendous change for our country and for our world. But the financial crisis certainly extended for a time and really hit people.
And then I think that even that's around the time, and not to say that it wasn't before, that the United States reputation, which is that Capricorn energy, started to really people started looking at us like, y'all ain't all that. But that's Capricorn. Capricorn is your public image, your reputation, how everybody out there sees you. And so, now we're being exposed. Like you're right, we kind of not all that.
We were exposed in the years of 2017 to 2021 in a way that.
But I think we started getting side-eyed in 2008.
Yeah, absolutely.
They was like, "Oh, y'all losing houses over there?"
Right.
The American dream ain't so dreamy no more.
You're right.
Astrology, how do you as a professional, how do you read the cards in your sign? Is that difficult to do?
Every year I get another astrologer to read my chart for me.
Okay.
That's my birthday present to myself every year. But I do tend to keep up with the planets. A lot of times I use it for observation, like, oh, I see that this is every month for 6 months. I cried when the moon was in Virgo. So I cry when the moon is in Virgo. So I don't look every day, but if some things are going on, I'm aware. Or if something's going on with me, I'm like, let me check and see what is possibly impacting me. But
you're really good at looking at patterns and repetitions. And
I like to see the patterns. So y'all know me, I'm super saggy. So I need to know, because I wrote it down here, like, no, it really happened. Like I see this. So yeah, that's what I do. And I love it because right now, we're done now, but we ended the year with Mercury retrograde. And so now the Mercury is forward. And now I know, okay, last year when we started 2023, we were told, no, wait, Mercury's retrograde. We started 2023 with Mercury retrograde. And so it's like, wait, don't try to push forward. But now on the 1st, Mercury's direct. So now we can push forward. Hopefully we're pushing forward on some of the things that we started last year, but didn't actually continued. It just didn't come to fruition in 2023. So now is the time to pick it back up. And then later in the week on the 4th, Mars goes into Capricorn. We're really going to want to put our energy into building something, business, image, professional, that kind of thing, something that's really useful. So it's gonna individually, it could be a better year. Specifically, if we just stay focused on, like I said, our community and our goals and that kind of thing around us. But don't get it twisted. They're going through it.
Wow, that's fascinating. So in terms of do you give yourself checkups regarding the predictions you've made? Because I remember when we first met you and you said that the current president was not going to make it into the second term.
And I was telling a friend the other day, sometimes you don't want to be right about predictions. And then sometimes you do, because it was such a big prediction. I'm like, okay, happen now. Can you just happen? I mean, I don't want it to happen, but
right.
So I still see Kamala's chart extremely favorable for her to be in a position of power before this year's elections. Her chart is honestly, it is primed for it. So if it doesn't happen, I don't know what I'm going to do, but something in her is going to rise. She's in a really, really good place right now. And there's even this part of me that feels like she's staying so quiet because she's preparing. She's learning things. I feel like she's taking in information. She's going through her second Saturn return. So she's, really learning. And so I'm excited. I'm still holding on to that, Sybil.
Well, if you read Cameron Riley's, read his stories, he does quite a bit on Kamala Harris and a lot of the things that she's doing, that she did in perhaps in preparation, but also kind of she's not separating herself from the president, but she is moving in a more deliberate direction,
Yeah.
which is more along the lines of the people.
Right.
And I'm specifically talking about the Israeli situation
Mm.
and kind of bringing the president along. So she is definitely in preparation for something. But
Mhm.
I also think that she is what the opposite party wants, that they are looking and kind of salivating at the prospect
Mm.
of
Yeah,
running
but they
against
just,
her.
but I mean, but the thing about it is, and if she does it
Hmm.
right, that they don't know that there's so much energy in her favor, and it's
Mm,
like energy that you can't stop. Like, come on now. Like,
mm,
you could try, but when it comes down to it, because they're so in this old traditional way of
right.
doing things, if they don't
Mm,
change their mindset, they're gonna look up like we were too busy like fighting with each other that we
mhm,
actually got what we didn't want.
Mm.
mhm,
And so I really do still stand by that. Now, the only other part that I don't like about that is that if she's elected and it's not because of anything that do with Joe Biden, I'm then still concerned about that cycle of somebody that's in power in the United States, this being on that cusp of them getting shot or shot at or,
mhm,
assassinated or something like that. So
right.
that's the only other thing that will concern me. However, I just see her, like her chart is prime for it. And I'm not the only astrologer that thinks like that, you guys. A
Mhm,
lot of us
Mm.
do.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You do not stand alone, but you're
I do
okay if you
not
do.
stand alone. I have I'm like, right, y'all, right? They're like, right.
Come on, you guys. Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
we've had a lot of famous people who have died this year.
Mhm.
Um, is there a way to I don't know, I don't want to say foretell their demise, but it seems like people that you never would have thought in their 50s or even early 60s would have
Mhm.
died as a result of ketamine overdose or something like that, in reference to the member of the Friends family. But
Mhm.
is there a way that people can consult with their astrologist to kind of avoid
Yes,
this?
yes, your health, all of those kind of things. There's several spots in the chart that
Hmm.
indicate your health and each sign even, and I have if you go to my website cosmicallylit.com, I have a free download of astrology in your health. And each sign rules a part of the body. And then when you get these kind of negative aspects like Pluto or Scorpio season or kind of like Mars making an aspect to Pluto, then it doesn't have to happen, but you need to be aware that the energy is ripe for an overdose. The
Hmm.
energy is ripe for murder. Like these kind of things. Like for instance, it wasn't this year, but when the Migos rapper got shot, he
Uh-huh.
was he was a Gemini. Mars was in Gemini. I had literally put a post a couple days before, like, no arguments, you guys. Like, we can't be doing all this. And so to kind of see that happen, it's like, if I was his astrologer, specifically because Mars was retrograde, I would have said, stay away from crowds right now. In
Hmm.
Gemini, Mars is in Gemini. Remember, I said it's a very social sign, but
Right.
Mars wants to fight. So it's like, okay, and it's retrograde. So this is going to be a weird, stupid, what just happened kind of fight. Stay away from people.
And you can't say, what sign are you? It's better just to stay
Just
away.
right, just stay
Yeah.
away from people in general. So it does show up in the chart, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen. It just means that the energy is kind of right before it to happen. And that's why I think people should know they're a part of their own charts. Like, like for me, I know this is crazy, but I know like when the moon is in Pisces or there's something
Hmm.
going on like Pisces, like I'm probably gonna have 3 or 4 too many drinks around that time.
Okay. Okay.
Like,
Is that your birthday time too?
no,
Oh,
I'm a Sag, but
right.
Pisces, and I have a South Node in Pisces, so I like that escape. And then it makes a difficult aspect to my own moon, so now I'm all emotional and watery and
Is that because it's really
delusional.
Jesus's birthday? Is
I
Pisces?
believe that Jesus was a Pisces. I tell you that all the time. His miracle
Mhm.
was to turn water into wine. Okay.
The two fish.
Okay, and they're the fish. and
Mhm.
Pisces is the magician, like the miracle worker. And Pisces are most likely to sign to like do magic for a drink. They like to drink or escape. Really likely to
Magic for a
overdose
drink.
on pills. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a fish. Their keyword is, I believe, it's the 12th
Jesus do be
sign,
sipping wine
the
though.
martyr. So I'm working on that book though, by the way.
Good, because I love that title.
Yes, I have a lot going on this year. I'm excited.
Good. Khameron and Coy, you have any other questions?
Ooh, I think that the pressing question that that I have is, for those of us out there who are like structurally religious, how can we still reconcile that in our faith, but still tap into like these energies that the universe is sending us, whether it be premonitions or otherwise? How can we still reconcile that in our faith?
Right. I actually encourage people to not allow people to get in your head about it and to research this stuff for yourself in the Bible. And then when you start looking at dates, so for instance, when I go to Genesis, I see that God separated the big light from the little light, and he put all the stars in the sky on day 2. So then my mind is like, okay, but he put those there. Like you're telling, people didn't even come till day 6. So why can't I pay attention to what was done on day 2? Then you start noticing like they followed the North Star. There's a North Node in astrology. It's our purpose. It's supposed to be our direction. We know that Easter is always the first Sunday after spring, like the spring equinox. So it's like, okay, that's based on seasons. Astrology is based on seasons. So my encouragement would be to kind of close your ears to what everybody else is saying and just ask God to show you for himself if that's what you're supposed to be learning. Now, it's not for everybody, and I'm completely okay with that, but if this is something you're interested in, I would just don't tell anybody that you're doing it, and just
Yeah, if you look real deep into like old school religion, the lines blur like real quickly. I mean the Pentecost Sunday and like the Pentecostal people and the Pentecles, people who speak in tongues, it gets really blurry.
Absolutely. So for me, it's just I can't deny it. So I just and it's based on my own studies, my own observations, my own.
Did you ever run into any conflict that way with people who are?
All the time I was called a Jezebel, a devil worshiper, like in all of my comments. I'm like, get out of here. Yeah. So yes, I definitely have. But what I'm also seeing is that a lot of Christians are coming to me because I have these answers that they have just been looking for. And I don't deny God, and I don't deny Jesus. I don't necessarily think that's the only way to a beautiful afterlife, but I don't deny any of it, and I don't argue anybody's beliefs as well. But I have these answers for you if you want them. And so I get a lot of Christians. They don't want their sessions recorded.
Right.
And at first you're scared of the tarot cards, but then it just starts flowing. And then I'm like, the tarot cards they kind of want to, feel the urge. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine.
Any leaders of mega churches that we know of?
No, but it was predicted to me this year that I'm going to have a lot more Christians coming to me for insight.
Okay.
I'm here for it. I love y'all. And I know my Bible.
Okay. I'll say he put the stars there on the second day, not the third day.
The number 2, that means
it is right. Well, I'm gonna take a nap. Yeah.
Coy, what about you?
One of the questions that I have, and I've seen this sentiment echoed with other people, is, and I have insight on it, but just for 2024, it could be different. How do we know that this is our job that we should have, the place where we should be, where we live? Is this our person that we should be, investing more time with romantically? Is this our friend group? Is this part of my family where I thrive the most?
Where's
all of that is in the chart.
Confirmation? Yeah.
All of it is in the chart. It really is there. All of it's covered, from the things that you should eat to how you'll make money. And what some of us need to know, and a lot of people need to hear, and I do this in my readings all the time, a lot of signs are mutable. So honestly, Coy, you have a lot of mutable energy. It's okay to change jobs and change subjects and change all the time, because you're the sign that takes us from fall to winter. So you're constantly changing. If you try to stay stuck in one thing, you're going to hate it. So all of that shows up in the chart. There's certain houses that you have to look for. You have to know your time of birth to know the houses. And then you just kind of want to get to know the planets and what house they're in, what sign they're in, and the answers are there. So ultimately, get an astrologer. Long story short, right? Long story short, here's the other thing too, and for entrepreneurs and business owners, your business has a chart. Your business will also go through cycles, and you will know who works best in your business. Are they compatible not just with you, with your business? You know, what path should your business take? How should you market? All of those kind of things are also in a chart. Anything with the date has a chart.
I'm going to put an astrologer in my HR department.
I'm telling you, I'm right here. I do Zoom
I'm gonna do
meetings.
that with my job. And my
It's such a
business.
great idea,
Yeah.
and it's great for your employees, how to communicate with them. Everybody has different communication styles. Some people, for me as a Sag, I can just let it come right out of my mouth and they don't care. It did not bother them. Air signs love it. Other fire signs love it. When I'm talking to a water sign, I gotta watch it a little bit. I gotta think about it first. I gotta find the filter.
You have to parse your words in order to. Yeah.
What am I saying? Should I say that? Should I say that? No, probably not. So, and it's good for coworkers, and it's also like Venus is our values. So you find out which coworker. This one wants a bonus. This one wants a money bonus. This one wants extra time off. This one wants a plaque with their name on it. All of that is also in the astrology.
Wow, that's really interesting.
It's really good. I love it.
One of the other things you mentioned about lucky days for the signs, and can you kind of go through that? Is that possible?
Yeah, I love it. And it's not even just a sign. So it's like, and this shows up. So let's start with the sun's day, which is Sunday. This is when you do the stuff that you're most passionate about. So I think and we have fun because it's a Sunday fun day, anyone. And the sun is all about ego and fun. This is when we're gathering with family, cooking those extra large meals, watching football, all that kind of stuff. So Sunday's really good for that. Monday is the moon's day. I actually think this should be an off day for us, and it should be a self-care day because it's the moon's day. Maybe clean up around the house, sleep in a little bit, depending on your moon. So like for Coy and Khameron, they're like, sleep in. No. Okay.
Yeah, I will though. Yes, I will.
Organize the house, maybe do some things around the house, some structural things like cleaning up, some things that make you feel good around the house. Tuesday is Mars day, and this is the best day to take action. So if you want to start a new routine, it's actually better to start it on a Tuesday, or if you really need your energy, Tuesday is going to be the best day to do that. Wednesday is Mercury's day, really good for reading, communicating, replying to emails, writing your blogs or vlogs or those kind of things, information in that kind of way. Thursday is Jupiter's day, so this is better for you to receive information, to learn that. And this is why we see a lot of Bible studies on Thursdays, you guys, because Jupiter is a planet of belief and faith, and it also rules Pisces. So it's a good day to go to Bible study or learn Bible study yourself or spend some time deep meditation and mantras and stuff like that.
Did they move Bible study from Wednesday to Thursday?
Every Bible study I've been to has been a Thursday Bible study.
Okay.
Yeah. But it makes sense for Wednesday too, right? Because it's Mercury's day, communicating, talking, taking notes, study. So Wednesday, Thursday are good for that. Friday is Venus day. This is why we love a good happy hour. Everybody's getting off work early. But the thing about Friday, this is also because it's Venus. I feel like even though it's like casual Friday, people like feel really snazzy. They feel like that auntie, right? They can't wait to go meet their friends and mingle and stuff like that. So Friday is going to be the best day for that, or anything that you really have a lot of value in, that you feel valuable, or like your self-worth, self-value. And then Saturday, Saturn's day. That's why we're getting up early, cleaning the house, running errands, having to be responsible and take care of kids and all that kind of stuff. Go to those football games that used to take up my entire Saturday.
Those days are behind you.
Oh my God, those days are behind me. But I miss them now. My
Of
poor
course.
15-year-old, I harass her all the time. She's like, what? So yeah, those are the days that are best to kind of take initiative or any of those kind of things like that. So each day, and those are all the planets that at some point in the year you can see them with the naked eye. We don't assign the outer planets because they affect us in such a bigger or generational way that they don't even apply to days of the week.
So my problem with this is that I'm a fire sign, a sun
Uh-huh.
sign,
Mhm.
and Sunday should be my day. And I hate Sundays now because it's such an intense work day for me.
Because
So
you're
it's
not supposed to be working on
I know. So
Sunday.
I'm just having this thing like this should not be the day where I do have to
No,
do and
it's your
just figure
fun
out.
day. It should be your
Yeah,
fun day, whatever
Mhm.
that means for you. It
yeah.
should be your fun. As a
It's a
Leo,
day of writing and working and meetings and video
I would do
conference
those
calls, and I
Wednesdays
hate
and
all of
Thursdays.
those things.
I
Wednesdays and
vote we move
Thursdays.
it to
Tuesday,
Saturday.
Wednesdays, right? Oh, Coy's on that too.
Oh, we're changing
Coy's
the
like,
meeting
I don't
day
like
again.
Sunday either.
Mm-mm.
Because she's
Okay.
a fire sign too. Of course she doesn't. She's like, I want to go do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough where I used to have to get in my head about starting the week over, getting ready
Right,
for Monday. But
right.
now it's like this is my Monday. It's like,
I
oh,
think Sundays
damn.
and Mondays should actually be our off days.
I like
Tuesday
it.
is a great start of the week, especially with
Mhm.
Mars
Okay,
energy. Mhm.
okay,
So,
okay. All right. You
so
hear
if
that,
you're able
Yolanda?
to work your own schedule, I would
Yeah,
highly
well,
recommend you Monday and Tuesday or Sunday and Monday off. And then also find out where your sun and moon are and see how you can fill Sunday and Monday with things that make you feel good, that give you passion, but also nurture you. And then you're
hmm
going to be so excited about Tuesday through Saturday.
oh,
Hair
Mhm.
salons are closed on Mondays.
Right? Because they're like, oof. A lot of places are closed on Mondays, even a lot of
yeah.
like restaurants and stuff. And then that makes me think that maybe like in Eastern cultures, like are they closed on Mondays? Because they're more into like that kind of thing,
Yeah.
like being in
hmm
alignment with the planets and stuff like that. So if you're able to move your schedule, I would.
If you could leave us with one thing for us to think about, to ruminate on, to perhaps to carry into 2024, what would that be?
Well, with today being the first, and I feel like a lot of us have reviewed over the last couple of weeks our goals, and we knew coming into this, the new year, this first is perfect for the new year. Like this is a really good time. If you have to give yourself any more time up until the 11th, is going to be really, really good go time. But
hmm
this year, make sure you're doing something that you intended to do last
Intention.
year.
Oh, okay.
It's about intentions of last year, and also remembering that we're expecting some shakeups on a bigger level. So last year you likely intended to reconnect or learn something on a local community level, like closer to home, more in your family, wanted to connect more, and maybe that's what didn't happen. That would be something to just really put a lot more energy into this year, as
hmm
well as anything that we're building with that. It's Capricorn season, and that Mercury retrograde 23-24 was Capricorn. So it's something that we're building. Depending on where Capricorn is, those kind of placements that you have in your chart, we're building something. Work on that. This year, we don't have as many Mercury retrogrades. We only have 3. We
Oh,
usually
wow, that's good.
from 3 to 4.
Okay.
So it should be a little bit easier. Always know when Mercury goes retrograde. That's important time because that's when we regroup our thoughts, when we tap back in with the plan and the ideas. So make sure you know where that is through the year. But otherwise, don't forget that goal that you just didn't take care of in 2023. It's going to end up being really, really good for you. I think when the spring comes, you'll start to see a lot of, okay, yeah, no, I got fruit from this. This is good.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, cool. All right, great. Um, I want to thank you, Miss Astrology, for coming on and being so much fun and joining
Thank
us
you. I
on a
love this.
regular basis, and also having an opportunity to talk with 2 of the youngins that you don't often have an opportunity
Oh
to
yeah, thanks
engage
for having
with.
us.
So
Maybe more this year.
yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, maybe more
absolutely.
this year. Mhm.
We're going to close out with Yogi's Jewel, and that is do not dwell on the past, do not fixate on the future. The key to a fulfilled life is to embrace and live fully in the now, right now. Can't agree with that anymore. And Coy and Khameron wish you a happy new year and a profitable one,
Likewise, likewise.
Thank
as
you.
both personally and professionally. And Ms. Astrology, all the best to you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. I'll see you.
We